Bonjour tout le monde! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sophia. I'm an American living in Paris, and today we're talking money again. Did you know that you have to show all your US bank accounts to the French government when applying for a visa? Because, well, I did actually know. And so today I'm going to be talking to you about how much money I saved, how I saved it, and that it worked for me. So keep watching. So I remember when I first started looking into this, I was Googling how much money does one need to save to be approved for their visa by the French government? And I found exactly nothing. So I really didn't have much to go off of, but I knew that obviously the more money you had, the better you were going to look to the French government. So for my first tourist visa, I only submitted my tourist visa application with, I believe, about $5,000 USD in savings. Now, a tourist visa is something totally different. You're not applying for French residency, so you're not as much of a burden on the French government. Isn't as worried about you as a tourist. But when you're applying for a visa to be a French resident, then that is something that they take more seriously. So for my auto-entrepreneur profession libérale visa, I saved in my savings account $20,000. Now, the French government also wants to see all your accounts so they can get a global vision of your net worth, and basically they can be assured that you're not going to be a financial burden on the country, because they're not going to want to let someone into the country who could potentially end up homeless or destitute, or that they're going to have to be taken care of out of their tax-paying dollars. So I saved $20,000, and this is how I did it. So the first thing I did to save $20,000 was a bit of house hacking. Now, you might remember from my other videos, if you watched them, I used to live in New York City, which is one of the most expensive cities in the world, and I paid $2,200 a month in rent. My annual salary was around $86,000, so that was more than half of my take-home pay for the month in rent every month. And when I first realized I was going to need to start showing some bank accounts, showing the money to the French government, I decided that the most logical thing to do would be to cut my biggest expense, and that was my rent. I was able to sublease my apartment while I was traveling, so work would be paying for my accommodations while I was traveling for work, and then I would also be subleasing my apartment, thus alleviating the burden of the rent from myself. Now, if this isn't the case for you, if you're not traveling for work and you're not able to sublease your apartment, you can look into many other ways for house hacking. Maybe you can get a roommate if you live alone. I had a friend who did this, who was struggling financially a little bit. He lived alone and he was able to sublease a room or get a roommate for a period of 6 months. And in New York City, that's thousands and thousands of dollars that can be saved very fast just by doing a bit of house hacking. You can move into a cheaper place. While not ideal, it can be done if you're very serious about saving money quickly. Cutting your biggest expense is going to be the way to go. The second thing I did was I completely stopped shopping, and I used to be a bit of a shopaholic before. I work in the fashion industry. I lived in New York City. You see all the influencers everywhere looking amazing. You want to keep up. But I really needed to stop because I had to prioritize what I wanted more, which was my move to Paris, versus if I was in a store, what I wanted right there and then, which would be this cute little bag. So I would encourage you, if you enjoy shopping and sometimes have willpower problems, to ask yourself the question, what do I want more versus what do I want now? And if this move or this big thing that you're saving for is what you want more, put the purse down, put the thing down, walk away, take a deep breath, leave the store. You'll leave happier for it. You'll forget about it in literally 2 seconds. The third thing I did, and this is a bit of a hot take maybe for the financial gurus, but I downgraded the amount of money that I was saving into my 401k. Now, my company had a super tiny match. I think it was like 1% cheap. So I think I pretty much went down to zero with my contributions, and that's because I had carefully weighed the pros and cons of doing this. I knew that I wanted to move to another country. I don't really have plans to return to the United States, and so saving for retirement in my US 401k account wasn't necessarily top of my priority. Now, please don't take this as any financial advice. Please talk to whoever you need to talk to, financial advisor wise, if you're gonna consider doing something like this. But for me, like, saving into my 401k account wasn't my biggest priority. I'd rather have money for my international move and then figure out how to save for retirement as an expat American, which I'm currently in the middle of doing. And it's quite a struggle, actually. I don't know exactly what I'm doing or how to do it. So once I figure it out, hopefully I can share with you guys. But I think saving for retirement is super duper important, and investing and all that super important. But for me, I was able to save a little bit of extra cash by downgrading the amount I contributed to my US 401k account, because I knew I wasn't going to be, hopefully, not retiring in the US. That's not my plan. I didn't do this, but it's something I considered. I really considered getting a second job, like at a coffee shop or a store or something like that. I just really needed cash fast, and this was something I considered, but unfortunately I traveled too much for work at the time, and I wasn't able to figure out a way that I would have like a consistent schedule by working 2 jobs, and decided ultimately not to do that. But it is a great option for people who want to earn more and have extra money to put away for something such as a big international move. Obviously, there's all the little things like not eating out as much anymore. I mean, in New York City, that's just a no-brainer, right? Because you can go out thinking you're going to get a cute little dinner and it's $75. They only take cash. You got to go to the ATM machine, pay an extra fee, and before you know it, you spent about $100 on dinner and you didn't even drink any alcohol. And that's New York City, my friends. And that's part of the reason actually why I left, because that damn place, the amount of money that it takes to just even blink in New York City is wild. But yeah, not going out to eat, huge money saver, and it's healthier for you. So if you're considering a big move like this, just know that the more money you save, the better you're going to look to the French government, the more money you're going to have for emergency payments, such as unforeseen costs with your visa application. If you haven't seen my visa cost video, click here, because there's many unforeseen costs that I had to pay. And yeah, just the better off you're going to be and the more comfortable you're going to be long-term with your move. So I hope this helps you. Let me know in the comments below how much money you're saving for your international move, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.